Again to Procrastinator's Pit Stop. We have another amazing guest for you today. We have with us Tina English, affectionately known as Dr. Love. Tina began as Austria's pioneering relationship coach before evolving into a global dream life mentor, speaker, and author. Drawing on her expertise across relationships, health, and personal development, she brings warmth, positivity, and inspiration to every conversation. Tina, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we definitely appreciate having you here, and we have a lot of things to dig into. But as is customary on the show, we do have an icebreaker question. And the question for you today is, which cartoon character do you resonate with the most and why?
I think it's Belle, not only because I played her, but I think this is such a story. She goes out to find nothing, and then she finds something, and she's afraid of. And but she had to push through, and pushing through actually brought her the life that she dreamed of, and even better. And I think this is such a great metaphor for what I do, and actually what is also my story, because I think overcoming our biggest fears gives us in the end the dream life that we never dreamed of.
I really love that, and I love that definition for you as well, especially given what you do. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got to be where you are today?
Well, my journey is like very, it started completely different. I was in sports. I was doing professional sports. I was snowboard racing. I had an accident. I had to go through the doctors told me initially that I might not be able to walk again, but I didn't like the doctor, so I didn't really believe him. And that was my fortune, because the other doctor just said, like, I got this. He didn't say I want to walk again or anything, but I heard I walk again. And this is what I did and what I believed and what I fought for. And actually 6 weeks after I was again back on the snowboard, was really fast. After that, I had some really good seasons. And actually one day when I won a race that I thought was really important for me, I found myself in the car on my way home. And I thought, like, wow, if this is what happiness feels, that's not enough. Because I imagined that after this big success that I rated as to be a big success, I would be really happy and I would be really like full of this energy. But I felt just like before, nothing changed. And probably in that moment, I realized that I wasn't so happy before. I was always waiting for the outside event. I mean, I wasn't conscious about that at that time. But from now I can say that I was waiting from something coming from the outside. And when it came, I realized it wasn't what I was waiting for. And that actually brought me on my journey. I went to, let's say, poor countries. In my case, it was Cuba. And I lived there for quite a while to understand what happiness is. Like, I worked there also. And I learned so much about the other way of finding happiness, because these people, they don't have anything. Like Europe, America, we have money, or we have possessions, and we thrive on that. But that actually is an outside thing, and that doesn't make you happy. And in Cuba, I discovered something. These people, they had nothing, but they had such a happiness inside of them, and they were bringing it to the world, and some love and family life that I wasn't knowing in this way. And that brought something more to my life. And when I came back to Austria, I needed to integrate that. Like, I needed to find a balance, because in Austria, I cannot live without money. I have to have money, but I don't want to lose what I just found. And there was one thing when I came home, I thought, like, wow, I had such an experience, because coming home, I only realized how much I have changed, like inside, what I brought with me. And I thought, like, oh my God, I think everyone should go through such an experience like that. And my idea of how I want to create my life at that moment was, I want to help people, of course, not to go to Cuba or something like that, but to be happier in their life. And the relationship coach, that was just because I didn't know where to start. And I asked some friends when I did the education towards this, and I said, like, well, you should be a flirt coach. You're good at that. Which wasn't the wonder, because in Cuba, people are flirty. And I was trained by them. So I started on this. And this is actually, I evolved to do relationships, not just singles. I wrote a book about the topic, and this is how I became Austria's first relationship coach. And this is where the story started. Then after that, it was like, okay, I teach people how to find love. Then I help people in relationships. But in the end, it's the individual who needs to be happy, to be ready to really have this great relationship. And this was also because of another accident that I had in my life, where I really got paralyzed for a time. And I got back again to walking. So this is my thing, obviously. And this was a moment because I was in Mongolia. I jumped off a horse, and there was nothing before. I just fell and I couldn't walk in this moment. And for me, it was like, oh my God, this is how fast you die. And this is how it basically can end, like any time. There are no signs, nothing. And after a phase of real deep depression, for me, it was clear that I need to change everything in my life now. Everything that is not in place, like where I'm not yet happy. Because I think in the face of death, I cannot say I wasn't close to death, but I was for the first time conscious that how fast it can happen. And facing this idea, how fast it is, that was the first time in my life that I thought of, okay, everything that is not yet in the place where I should be, just let it go and do something better. Find what is really your life and your dream life. And this was actually the step out to the Dream Life Mentor, because I was on that way myself.
That is such an amazing story, and that, thank you for sharing with us. It sounds like that there were a lot of challenges, but you faced those and you overcame those. And I love how you say that, because many of us are still in that same mode, right? We are based on external factors, or external narratives, right? We take those on as ours, right? And we expect it to bring us happiness, but it really doesn't.
Hmm. Exactly.
So, just really quickly now, and I don't imagine that because of your experiences, you maybe have these experiences very often. But how would you define procrastination, and what does it mean for you personally?
Oh, for me, I actually don't have a lot of things I procrastinate on, gratefully. But something like accounting, I hate it. I really, everything in me is against it. And the best time in my life was when I found someone, or I can outsource it. But I remember how that was like, everything else was better than doing accounting, cooking, cleaning, everything that I try to not do like immediately because I have to find my mood to do it. It's better than doing accounting. And I think this is the approach to procrastination, even though I do it consciously. And I think that many people do it unconsciously, not just because they do things they bring up themselves to procrastinate, but they let other people do the procrastination for them by letting other people dictate what's their priorities. For example, I want to start losing weight. Not me, but as an example. And I want to start on Monday. But then comes my friend and says, hey, I have a birthday party on Wednesday and you should come. So my thought is maybe, okay, but at the birthday party, I want to eat that cake. I want to drink the glass of champagne. So I already screwed my diet if I start on Monday. So I'm not going to start this Monday. I'm going to start the other Monday. And then another friend comes and another friend, and the diet is always like procrastinating. It's going further and further and further. And this is what I really feel is procrastination when it comes from the outside. And both the inner procrastination and the outer procrastination, it stops you so much from getting closer to your goal. It holds you back all the time, and it's not even conscious because you think you have a good excuse to do it, or not do it in that case.
That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, and it's very true. A lot of times we think about all the internal factors, but we don't necessarily think about how the external factors affect us as well. So, what would your maybe go-to solution be for procrastination? If you say like this New Year's, we all get together, we say, yeah, we're going to lose weight starting in the new year. oh no, we got all those leftovers. We're definitely gonna not start until 2 weeks after those are gone. And then, you know, and then you have Valentine's Day with all the chocolates, and then all this external things. So, what would your advice be in that case?
So I mean, for losing weight, my advice is always, when it's in you, it doesn't serve you anymore. So when it's in the trash, it's the same. Like inside, it's a trash. If you put it in and you're not really feeling that you want that, then you use yourself as a trash. Then put it in the trash immediately. I mean, yes, you bought it. It's true. But if you don't enjoy it, it doesn't mean anything. And it's better to get the good food. That is what I first would say towards the food, so people can have another mindset, because I think mindset is the first thing that we have to try to change when it comes to procrastination. They have to understand why they're doing it. The easiest advice from outside, from me, for a person that wants to get doing things, is just do it. Don't think about it. I know it's very difficult. So I guess the best advice that you can do, or you can give to someone, is set a little bit of time aside every day for whatever goal it is that you want to do. And this is the date with yourself, with your goal. And just, if you would have your date, the first date with that person that you really think you want to spend your life with, and you would never cancel that date. I mean, you are the person that you need to spend your life with. You don't have a choice. You will. So do not cancel that date, ever. And if you don't feel like it, like, the going to the gym thing, like, oh no, today I'm so tired. Get the shoes on, go there. Don't think about it. Just don't think about it. You do it. And once you're done it, you have something to be proud of, to celebrate. And this is actually a milestone. Every time you put the shoes on, even though you didn't want to, you reached a milestone and you create a habit. And after a little while, 30 days, it's what's being said, but it's a little bit different for everyone. But after, let's say, about a month, you have created a habit, and then it's not so difficult anymore. And after a while, let's say a year, there's a day you cannot do sports. You go like, oh, well, I want to do sports. Where can I put it? Because you miss it. It's already a part of you. So the only trick that you have to do is you have to be a little bit stronger than your brain, the part of the brain that doesn't want you to do it. It holds you back.
Excellent. I like that you say that, and mindset does play such an important role in it. Just swinging back a little bit back to your book. I'm always interested in talking to people about when they write their books, because I personally have a lot of respect for people who actually write books, because I always said I'd never write one. I did write one. I'm not going to go into it right now, but
Congratulations.
yeah, you wouldn't say that if you knew what it was. But I always ask this, because they say that writing a book is 98% procrastination and 2% is actually writing the book. How true is that for you?
From the outside, I would say it's 100% true. But from the inside, I'd say it's not. Because there is something to the brain that people don't used to know. And it's that when you're bored, when you're just sitting around, or you do random tasks like cooking or cleaning the car, your brain is working, actively creative working. So I think for me, I always take this and I say it's my preparation time. So when I don't have an idea that sets me off right now, I do stupid stuff. So my brain can actively work on what I want to go back to. And as soon as an idea comes up, I can drop it because it's just a random task. And I go to my computer and I write. So I think this is the take on it. And I think it's very, very important, if you want to get creative, to really have this nonsense time. And nonsense, I don't mean like watching TV. I mean like really do stupid, repetitive things that you get bored, because people don't usually get bored when they watch TV. But the boring thing, the boring time, it's so, so good for the brain. This is also why children should always get bored to be really creative, because this is how they train their mind to imagine all these beautiful stories and stuff like that. And that's so healthy. Also for us, daydreaming is really good for the brain.
Interesting. So if you want to write a book, find the most boring thing you can do and just do it until the book comes out.
Well, you should have a little bit of a goal, maybe, and a little bit of a plan. But once there's this writer's blockage or things like that, you know where you need to go, but you miss this, the connecting part. And then it's really a good idea to go to this really boring stuff. It's going to come. For me, it was sports. Like when I was running, I was super creative because I was bored.
Interesting. Okay. But it's true. A lot of people use running as a method to clear their heads. So I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Now, just getting into what you do now, the dream,
Life.
yeah, dream life, I guess, dream digging
Dream
or
life mentoring. Yeah.
yeah. So when you go into that, many of us put that off. I mean, many of us put off trying to find that thing that makes us happy. Um, why do you think that is?
I think internally we do not grant us to really, we do not even tell ourselves that we give it up. Internally we hold on to that, but we procrastinate. We just push it on. It's like, no, tomorrow or next year, it's not a good time, it's not a good moment. I have to get more. I have to get more money. I love that because it's one of the most popular. I don't have time, I don't have money. And both are so not true, because both can be created. So what is really holding you back, or most people back, is the fear of not succeeding. Like, this is a really huge goal. This is your dream. And if you put that out, you put yourself and this dream in front of everyone, and everyone can see you failing. Because normally the first thought in your head is not, everyone sees me succeeding. Because if everyone sees me succeeding and I believe in this success, I do it. So there needs to be something that is holding me back, and that's internal. It's most of the time not conscious. You don't know that you think these things, and your brain tricks you. But also your brain likes stability very much. They don't want you to expand into something new because it's dangerous out there. It can be worse. You don't know. I mean, normally it isn't. Normally you would never take a step back once you took the first step or the second or the third, but you don't know that before you did the first step. And then your brain tries to trick you by saying, like, but it's not a good time. I don't have money right now. No, I have to do this before. I have so many other things that are so important, and that can be everything. But in this moment, to you, your brain tells you it's so important that you think, like, now I have waited so long to my dream. I can wait 1 week more or 2 weeks more. And after that, you're retired and you still didn't do it. So never wait, please.
No, I really like that, and it leads into those sayings, especially through like Eckhart Tolle, if not now, when? Because past is gone and future's not promised. So if not now, when? I
It's
really like
always a now. If you start tomorrow, it's still a now. So why not take this now?
Yeah, exactly. And I want to go back to that failure for a second there, because I always like to touch on this, because I heard this through someone I was speaking to. Their daughter was going through choreography school in London, and they said that fail is just an acronym. It's the first attempt in learning. So, did you have that same mentality when you were going through school and you were learning? And actually, that's where a lot of us get that mentality. We don't want to look, incompetent or dumb or any other label you want to give it in front of our peers, right? So that's why we don't try. But, we're actually sticking those into our subconscious and not even realizing it.
Yeah. And also in school, we are judged all the time. Like, this is the marks. You have an A, you have a B, or a 1 or a 5, wherever you are in. It doesn't matter what you are rated on, but you're rated. And you fail, you have the potential to fail. And when you fail, you don't pass, and you are not granted to the next step. And this is all, like, if you look at this, like our education system, it's no wonder that we're not, like, embracing the opportunities and just step up and say, like, hey, opportunity, come. Give me the failure because I learn. In school, you didn't learn that learning is to make failures into success. A failure is a failure, and you just failed, and no one said, like, yes, the next time you're going to do it. No, they said, like, you have to learn, you have to blah, blah. They just put everything in your mind that you were not enough at that time. And if you would approach it with a different mindset, like saying like, okay, now I have learned what doesn't work and I can do it differently the next time and just keep walking, that'd be completely different mindset.
No, I like that, and it's actually refreshing because I'll be the first to admit that you know I do a lot of commentary on the education system, but not specifically from that angle. I normally go at it from it's designed to get us used to rules, get us conditioned, almost like Pavlov, because we got bells going off, right? Do this, do that, conform. It's not producing dreamers. It's not producing, innovators or business owners. It's producing cogs for the machine, which is, fine. Not everybody's a dreamer, but maybe they should be given that choice.
Yep, yep. I think it should be at least a little bit supported. Because normally in school, dreamers, they're like, oh my God, the outsider. It should be so. I mean, every artist at a point is a dreamer, especially the one that do creative arts, like with their hands or painting or something like that. You have to be a dreamer to imagine those things. So yeah, we should really support these people to bring this out, this whatever they have inside. And I was that too. I was a dreamer too. And I know how that. Oh, what a wonder!
Well, I mean, I am a dreamer, which is also a kind of procrastinator too, right? Because a lot of times dreamers, we can have this big vision in our head, but then executing it is where we get stuck, right? Because we get stuck on the details, or like you said, we start to want to do it, and to do this big vision, I have to do this really boring thing, or maybe I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is a thing. You should get some education before you start. You should get some knowledge, not just do something. That's a good idea. But there is also this part of procrastination where people think they're not good enough, even though they're excellent already. But they want always more and more information because before they think they are ready to start. And that's another thing where people procrastinate. So actually, at some point, when you got some education, you have to start. You can get more education on the way, but actually the first step is still you have to do it at some point.
No, no, for sure, and lots of the greats, Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, even Zig Ziglar had these going on too. But it's not all of it is not it's not our fault. It's just programming, right, from when we were children. But also, it's a hangover. I like to call it a hangover from evolution, because when we were running naked through the woods 10,000 years ago, all the bad things used to kill us. So I mean, of course, the brain's going to overdrive. Oh, I saw Ugg fall off a cliff, so me no go no me go no go near cliff. So things like that, right?
That's true. In ancient times, it was a dangerous life out there, but that's not true for us anymore. But the brain didn't unlearn this reaction. So now we take the social situations as the dangerous situations. They're not dangerous in that sense. They won't kill us. Maybe they won't hurt us a little bit. I mean, if you let it get to you, if you're not really embraced the inner wounds that you had and healed them, then after that, probably that doesn't matter anymore. But in the end, you're not going to die if you have social, let's say even shaming. You're not going to die. You're going to survive this. People forget this and you can move on. So yeah, I don't know. You know that the public speaking, for example, is a very, very big fear. But the best thing that you can do is when you do it and you fail, like you have a problem up there, you just admit it and you just be authentically you, and people will love you for that. So all that fear just for nothing.
No, I love that you touched on authenticity. It's personally, it's a big thing, especially in this age where they're more and more fake. There's artificial intelligence. There's these, but authenticity. I love that, and you're right. I've had my own blunders, like live on podcasts, where I've lost my thought in the middle. I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. No, totally just went off the rails there.
It happens. But if you admit it, what can happen? I mean, you're going to catch it later on, or it wasn't that important. You're going to find it another way. It's okay. We are all humans. and being human in front of humans. I mean, how much more permission can you give them to be human as well?
No, I like that you bring that up as well, just because one of the things that I've noticed in our dreams specifically is many of us, myself included. I mean, I fell into this category. We start building something, maybe we fail, we don't see any success, and then we just give up, right? And that is just because we expect to see instant success. So when you're sitting down with somebody and you're saying, well, what's going to make you happy, and you're sort of mapping that out, how do you approach that with setting that expectation that it's going to be some work?
It's always the first steps that are the most difficult. And I mean, my own story is no success doesn't just wait around the corner. You have to work for it. It's just what it is. I mean, when I wrote my first book and to make myself, like, found my way to be able to publish it and to really sell it, that's not just waiting around the corner. Everyone can write a book, but there is so much that you have to think about too, and that you have to have in place. And that's a lot of work. And this is something that people need to know. If you want to go somewhere, you need to be okay with doing the work. If you expect it to sit around the corner, you have to, like, marry maybe rich or something like that. But that's the only way to get it, because everything else, it will cost you time and work, unless you have a lot of money and you can't pay other people to do that for you. But still, you have to do something. And at least you have to overcome fear, and you have to overcome everything that is holding you back from the inside. And also, this is a lot of work. So, and life isn't even supposed to be easy, because I think every step that we take, and even though it's a step that makes us be afraid or whatever, it evolves us. It makes us bigger. It makes us shine more when we overcame it. So every step is important. And like, if you, like in sports, if you win your first race, and I'm not saying like the first World Cup, if you would be able to start in your first race in a World Cup when you would win this, how would you be able to hold all the attention? You're not used to this. And then it's the pressure of winning again and succeeding all the time, being better and better. So also the steps towards winning, you have to learn them, and you have to grow into the person who can hold this position. And it's not for nothing. You just embrace every step of the way, because actually every step of the way makes you the person that you're going to be when you're the person that you want to be. And every step is important. So just be patient with yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you make a mistake, and just keep walking. And I think this is the best advice that you can give to someone, because actually what we think success looks like is starting here, boom, success. But it doesn't look like that. For everyone, it's like a hustle at some time. And I'm the same. Like, it wasn't always easy. And I don't know how many times I fell and I had to get up again, and how many times I cried, and how many times I said, like, I don't want to do this again, because I felt like I'm a complete failure. But the thing is, the next day, you stand up, you put the crown on, and you keep moving, because otherwise you just stay at the point. You're not going to succeed. Success is keep going, keep trying, keep it in a different angle, look at it from a different way, just keep going and don't give up.
I like that. One baby step at a time, and no step is too small, and just to keep going, like you said. But I am curious about one thing too. When you work with people, and again, man, I've hit a lot of times on this, but um, like, even I myself, when I was trying to figure out what would make me happy, it's sometimes we have an issue even doing that. So then the excuse becomes, oh, we don't have time to experiment to see what makes us happy. So how do you respond to that?
Just the same, like we said before, the first baby step. If you don't know what makes you happy, do something that makes you happy now. That's enough. And from satisfying this, making yourself happy, for example, making yourself happy means sometimes to do a really big step. For example, to say no to something that doesn't make you happy. So this is a huge step for someone that is afraid and do procrastinate, because saying no to something is ultimately a very, very difficult thing, especially if it's an important person in your life. So look inside of yourself, reflect, feel, and then follow what inside of you is the dictation. This is your first steps. If you don't know what makes you happy inside, you know, and try to do this first. And the more you give room and space to this happiness, the more you learn to be happy. And the more you embrace and feel this happiness, the more you will like know the nuances. What does make me more happy? What does make me less happy? And it will approach towards more and more happiness. You will be open to more and more happiness. And then you will find the way to where you want to be. It's not just like here. For some people it is, but not for everyone. Many people, they have stuffed so much like stuff on their happiness that they don't remember what it was. So just undo this step by step. The way that you put it on, that you lost it, discover it back again. So find fun in the process. I think that's a good way to say it, because you can't change it anyway. You have to go somewhere. So then go somewhere where you find happiness. It's a good way.
I really like that, and um, so look for the fun, and the rest will follow. Right? Look for the joy, and the rest will follow.
Yeah, I think the joy is important. The fun sometimes comes from forgetting the real way and just like watching TV or distracting yourself. So find the joy.
Joy. I like that. Just being respectful of your time. I know it's late over there, and I know it's the holidays coming up. I really appreciate you. Um, just before we start to wrap things up, is there anything that you feel I should have asked today, or any point I should have asked about that I didn't touch on today?
Well, for me, what I always like to say is to everyone out there that is listening, please, whatever you think is holding you back, just do a mini, mini, mini little step. Just open the window 1 millimeter and look what's out there. And if you like it, try to open it a little bit more. You don't have to do everything in one step. You don't have to do everything in one day, but at least try to be a little bit more happy, because this is what you're meant to be. And this is what your life needs to look like. And you deserve that.
Excellent. A very powerful note to end on here. Again, Tina, thank you so much for joining us, especially during this holiday season. I mean, everybody's got a very chaotic schedule. We know that. And again, once again, to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. And, just remember, if you can't find that inspiration or motivation for yourself today, maybe just go out and try to be that motivation and inspiration for someone else. And we'll see you again next time. Okay, cool. Now, oh, almost uploaded. There you go. Ooh, strong.